What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Enjoying the Review. I'm your host, Incomparable Zach Jones, and on today's show, I will be reviewing episode 5 of Creature Commandos, entitled The Iron Pot, a Frankenstein-centric episode. But before I get into things, I want to remind everybody to please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I beg of thee to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm not too proud to beg. I'll do it. Also, while you're there, you might as well leave a like, leave a comment, a positive review, all that good stuff. If you prefer just to listen, you can subscribe in audio form on your podcast catcher of choice. And you can also follow me on social media on Twitter or Blue Sky at Zach Jones Live. That's ZachJonesLive. All right, guys, let's get into it. So, another week of Creature Commandos and another episode that I feel is just okay. And I hate to say that, but James Gunn, I'm waiting for you to blow my socks off with one of these episodes. It just hasn't happened yet. This episode here, I think I'll give it like a 6.2 out of 10. Again, I've just common criticism of this series so far is, for me, the humor, for the most part, doesn't land. It's like a lot of it's a little too juvenile to enjoy, and some of it's just like, that was okay. But I'm not watching this show and LOLing, I think my other thing is, I think James Gunn is doing all right with giving us the backstory of these characters and making us invest in them. But the story that's going on in the present with the princess and everything, I feel like it's kind of going at a glacial pace. And now with only, a couple episodes left of the season, I'm like, is this going to resolve in a satisfying, way whatsoever? I know they are doing a second season of this, so maybe they planned on that all along, and this will end on some sort of cliffhanger or something. I don't know, but I don't know how in just a few more episodes they're going to, tie a ribbon on this and we'll be like, oh yeah, that was a satisfying payoff. Because I was pretty intrigued, in the prior episode where, with Cersei's vision of the future and all that. But now I'm like, I don't think we're going to really see much of that or possibly anything. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe James Gunn will surprise me. Fingers crossed. So like I said, this is Frankenstein's backstory and everything this episode. And Frankenstein is definitely mostly played for laughs so far in this series. He's the comic relief. And again, I like David Harbour, and I think his performance is fine and everything. I just think for the most part, his jokes and the humor, I don't know, it's not clicking with me so far. What do you guys think? Is the humor in this series like really working for you? If it is, let me know. I'm curious to know. But for me, most of it has fallen flat. Maybe a liner here or there, But yeah, let's get into spoilers now. I'm going to go through the episode here. We do get I wish I didn't know the cameo that pops up in this episode ahead of time. But we'll get to it. Okay, so this episode starts off. So of course, in the last episode, Frankenstein and Flag decided to team up to save the princess. So to start out with, they're spying on this professor, McPherson, that we saw in the last episode. She's like this expert on Themyscira. So they're watching this college class she's teaching, but she's acting very weird, hitting on her female students, being all excited about lesbians and, and things. And, they can tell something's weird. So Frankenstein wonders what they're doing there, and Flag basically just reiterates kind of what we figured from the last episode, is that they have this partnership where if Frankenstein helps Flag with the princess, he will in turn help her or help him with the bride. And so while McPherson is teaching, Flag wants to go to her house and search around because he feels like something's up with this woman. So now we start with our first flashback of the episode. And again, this episode is structured like all the other ones where we're going to get several flashbacks, this time focusing on Frankenstein. So we get a flashback of that we saw in one of the first episodes that focused on the bride, where the bride and Frankenstein start fighting after Frankenstein kills Victor Frankenstein, who, of course, the bride was kind of in love with. And in that fight, Frankenstein gets caught on fire. So now, back to the present. The Commandos arrive in Pakistan. Of course, they're there to assassinate the princess now. And they're greeted by Alexei, who is, the right-hand man of the princess. And he tries to get the details from the bride as to what the threat against the princess is. But she just says it's classified, keep it tight-lipped. So Flag and Frankenstein go to McPherson's house. And before they get there inside, Frankenstein sees a woman walking a cat. And he says something about how that's, a weird sign, and it reminds him of the time he spent with this gypsy woman. And by the way, I know some people maybe don't like that word or whatever, but that's what they use over and over in this episode. So let's see, what was I? So yeah, it flashes back. So after he got burnt up in the fight with the bride, he falls into a river. He gets knocked around. Eventually comes to shore, and this old woman finds him. The woman nurses him back to health. She puts like some cream on his burns or whatever. And Frankenstein eventually we get a scene where he finds out this old woman is blind. And he says if he were blind, he would unalive himself because he could not see the beauty of his bride. Of course, he's obsessed with the bride. The woman has him close his eyes and imagine the beauty of his bride. And she's like, see, you don't need eyes to see beauty. This is how I see the world all the time, Back in the present, Flag finds the real McPherson murdered in the upstairs of her house. So now he knows that there's an imposter, and he figures it's a shapeshifter of some kind. Flag calls the princess and warns her about the Commandos. That they're coming to kill her, of course. And we get... So this is an attempt at humor. Like, the whole time Flag's on the phone, Frankenstein is interrupting him and being like, tell her that we're best friends and I'm helping you, and she can relay that to the bride that I'm a rag guy and I've changed and all this. And of course Flag is just ignoring him. And so Flag hangs up, and then Frankenstein is all upset about how he didn't mention any of those things. They also do this, again, attempt at humor where Flag tells Frankenstein to hide, but he's huge, and he gets behind like this bird cage or something. And of course, he's totally visible, and he tells him to get behind the bed, and he's still visible. Again, not great humor, but whatever, Frankenstein has another flashback where he bonds more with the old woman. He goes hunting with a shotgun. With her dog and all this, and they just, I don't remember all their dialogue here, but you can just see that they're bonding. Alexei gets a call about the Commandos and their plans, and he changes course, telling them that there's traffic and we're going to take a alternate route to the castle. And we can see the Bride and Phosphorus give each other a look. They're basically immediately suspicious that something's up. So the fake McPherson shows up and starts playing Xbox, which I thought was weird because this is like a blatant product placement here. Which I guess you got to pay for these things somehow. I just thought it was a weird choice to have a blatant Xbox tie-in, and I think he even starts playing some sort of beat 'em up game that it shows a quick screenshot of. I don't know. I just thought that was a bit strange, but it's fine, I guess. Like I said, these things are expensive, I guess, and you got to pay for them somehow. And then it's revealed that the fake McPherson is actually a version of Clayface and turns into, Clayface form. That's what I was mentioning earlier. I wish that wasn't spoiled from that, series preview they had. It would have been much cooler to be like, oh, okay, Clayface is in here. All right. But, I knew it was coming. They don't mention what version of Clayface this is, and they just greenlit that Clayface movie. So, is this that Clayface? We don't know if it's the Basil Carlo version, the Matt Hagen version, maybe some other version. I don't know. They never mention it. So back in Pokolistan, Alexei pretends that there's something wrong with the vehicle and comes to a stop. Phosphorus yells at him to keep going. And it bounces around a lot here. So Flag and Frankenstein try to sneak past Clayface, but Clayface catches them. Back in Pokolistan, the commandos get surrounded by soldiers. So Phosphorus kills Alexei. He just puts his burning hand right through his head or whatever. And so now we get a big old action scene where they start fighting with the soldiers. And so basically, both Nina and Weasel just kind of run off and hide. They're not equipped to fight this fight. And also, again, like I said, it's bouncing around a lot. Flag and Frankenstein start fighting with Clayface. But to begin with, Clayface is getting the upper hand. He slams Flag up against a wall, and then he starts to envelop Frankenstein. I will say, I always like that aspect of Clayface. I think it's done much better in the Batman animated series episode called Mudslide, where he does that to Batman. He envelops him inside his body and tries to smother him, which is really dark if you think about it. And of course, in that episode, Batman uses his grapple hook to grapple out of him. It's really cool. With Frankenstein, he's technically I don't know. Can you kill Frankenstein by smothering him? I don't know if he technically even breathes we do. I don't know all the Frankenstein lore. So back in Pokolistan, the Bride, action scene. She shoots a bunch of the soldiers, and then we also get this scene where Phosphorus is able to a tank comes at him, but he's able to burn through the shells, burn through the tank, kill the guys inside. The Bride, she fights with this guy on a jetpack, gets his power gauntlets, and then she's able to destroy a helicopter and a bunch of the other bad guys that fly around and have those power gauntlets. So this I thought was a bit weird. So Frankenstein finds out that Clayface is vulnerable to electricity and electrocutes him. But I'm kind of why would electricity be a guy made out of dirt's weakness? I mean, I guess because he's clay, a certain percentage of his body is water, I guess. Is that the thought here? I just thought it weird. I would more think freezing temperatures would be more of the thing that would stop Clayface. Um, but I don't know. I guess electricity is his Achilles heel here. I don't know. I just thought it was a little bit strange, but I guess we'll go with it. Before Flag passes out, he tells Frankenstein to tell the bride the truth. Be honest with her. They kind of make it look like maybe Flag died here, but like there's obviously no way they're gonna kill him off this quickly. So I'm guessing he just passed out. Um, okay, this one I don't know if I got totally understood this scene. So we get another flashback with Frankenstein with the old woman. She's kind of upset with him for because he's gonna leave to go find the bride, and she's like, "No, she doesn't love you. Like, stay here." Um, um, and he ends up killing her. I think we're supposed to glean that, like, he thinks he's doing it so like she won't have to be alone. Um, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's a good reason because, like, I mean, he's gonna take the dog, so maybe that because I'm like she was technically alone before. I mean, she had the dog. Um, but yeah, I don't totally know if I understood James Gunn's uh, like reasoning here as far as Frankenstein and what Frankenstein's motive for killing her was. Um, uh, maybe I just missed the subtext here, but I was like, doesn't seem like he really needed to. Like even if he was taking the dog, um, like she would probably be fine. But I don't know. I guess he maybe in his way he thought it was like a mercy killing. So back in the present, the princess is informed that the commandos got away, and she tells her man they must find them and kill them all. Um, so I kind of think they are gonna like do more of a heel turn with the princess in a coming episode. I don't know if it'll be as severe as what we saw in Cersei's like flash forward or whatever. Um, but she actually hasn't done anything yet that is technically bad. Like even saying we're going to kill the commandos, well, she found out that they're looking to kill her. So like, yeah, of course, why? It's only sensible that she would do this. Um, but I don't know. I think there will be a moment where the hammer drops with her still. But it might be more interesting in more shades of gray if like she doesn't turn out to be like uh, totally evil, or maybe the twist is like we find out she has some sort of power and ends up being one of the commandos herself. That might be kind of cool. And then finally, in the last scene in the last flashback, Frankenstein takes the old woman's dog with him. Um. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, not a terrible episode or anything. Um. But the Frankenstein character is weird because like he's definitely trying to make him like one of the funnier people on the show, but at the same time, like he acts in a way where he's like fairly unlikable. Um, so I don't know. I guess we're meant to feel conflicted about his character. So I I'm not necessarily criticizing the writing, but the part where he does kill the old woman, I guess I'm still I just didn't totally understand his motivation. Maybe I just didn't pick up on something. So if anybody wants to comment and let me know what they think, that would be cool. But yeah, going forward, I saw the little preview for the next episode. It looks like it's going to concentrate mostly on Dr. Phosphorus in the next episode. But that's the thing, when these episodes are only like 20 some odd minutes apiece, and generally speaking, about half of them are dedicated to learning more about a member of the team. And so we're not going to get very much more of the advancement of the present day story. And so that's what I was mentioning earlier, where I'm just like, boy, oh boy, I don't know if this is going to get anywhere quickly enough to really give us uh, something to go home with at the end of this season. But and if it'll just kick the can down the road and be like, season 2's a coming, one of those endings. I don't know. So yeah, I'm still like I said, I don't hate this series. I just haven't. I'm yet to be blown away. But what do you guys think? Please comment down below. Let me know. And just to reiterate, as always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the most important thing. You can, like I said, subscribe on to audio feeds on your podcast catcher choice. But leave us thumbs up, positive reviews, comments, and you can follow me once again on social media, Twitter and Blue Sky at Zach Jones Live, ZachJonesLive. But until next time, guys, I hope you're enjoying the review. Bye, guys.